So I was scrolling through Reddit the other day, just going down some rabbit holes on ancient literature, and I found this post that, well, it honestly made me laugh out loud.
Okay.
It was from someone who just started trying to read Genesis,
Yeah.
and they were hitting a wall, a big one. They said reading the genealogies was like, and I quote, reading a phone book of dead people.
That is painfully relatable. I think everyone's been there. You're looking for the story, the action, and suddenly you're wading through pages of so-and-so is the son of so-and-so.
Feels like homework.
Exactly.
They called it boring, pointless. But it got me thinking, we all do that, right? We skip that stuff to get to the good parts. But what if those are the good parts?
That is a bold claim.
So that's the challenge for this deep dive. I want to take that boring phone book, a recipe for soup, and this really messy family feud, and see if we can prove they're actually the key to how the whole text is built.
I'm listening. That's a heck of a pitch. You're trying to make, ancient tax returns sound exciting?
I am. But I've got backup. We've got a whole stack of research here. Theological articles, literary analysis of Hebrew structures, even a culinary breakdown of ancient lentil stew.
We do. And I will say, that literary analysis stuff, once you see it, it's kind of mind-blowing. You can't unsee it.
Okay, so let's start right there with the big hurdle, the phone book. Genesis 25 opens, Abraham has just died, and boom, lists.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, why should a modern reader care about a list of names from 4,000 years ago?
It's a totally fair question. To us, it just looks like data, but we have to kind of shift our mindset. A source we're looking at, from David W. Jones, argues that for the original audience, a genealogy wasn't just data. It was a theological argument.
An argument for what?
For order, really. I mean, think how chaotic the ancient world was. There's famine, war, total uncertainty. A genealogy is this structural statement that history isn't just random chaos.
Yeah.
It's saying, look, God is working through this specific line of people moving toward a specific goal. It's a way of saying, someone is actually driving the car.
I can see that. That's actually pretty comforting. But isn't it also a bit, I don't know, elitist? I always assumed these lists were just about bragging. Look how perfect our bloodline is.
You'd think so. I mean, if you were writing propaganda for a king, that's exactly what you'd do. You'd scrub the record clean.
Right.
But Jones points out that these biblical lists are weird. They don't hide the messy stuff.
What do you mean by messy?
Well, they're surprisingly scandalous. If you look at the genealogies leading up to the New Testament, they include people who, by the standards of the day, have no business being on a best of list.
Oh, like who?
Well, think about the women in the lineage of Jesus. You've got Tamar.
Remind me about Tamar.
Oh, it's a dark story. She has to trick her own father-in-law into sleeping with her just to secure her family rights. It's messy. Then there's Rahab.
From Jericho?
Yep, a prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
And a Canaanite. A total outsider.
Oh.
And then, of course, Bathsheba, who's at the center of King David's huge adultery scandal.
So if the point was to show off a pure pedigree, they did a terrible job.
A terrible job. And that's the point the sources make. The fact that they include these outsiders and these scandalous figures, it suggests the point isn't we're perfect. It's that God uses imperfect, broken people.
That actually makes the list way more interesting. It's not a hall of fame. It's just a list of humans.
Exactly. And on a practical level, for that Reddit user, we have to remember this list was basically their ID card.
Their ID.
Yeah. There's no Social Security in 2000 BC. If you want to prove you own land or you have the rights of a priest, you need this list. If you can't trace your name back to the phone book, you are a nobody. You have no legal standing.
So losing your spot would be like having your citizenship revoked.
It's a social death sentence. So, yeah, maybe boring to us, but to them, it was everything.
Okay, so the home book sets the stage. It tells us who matters. And now the story zooms in on one branch of that tree. Isaac.
The son of the promise, yep.
He's 40. He marries Rebecca. You think, okay, happily ever after. But no, the text immediately throws a wrench in it.
It's the recurring theme of Genesis, isn't it? Infertility. The promise of a great nation always seems to hit a dead end right away. Isaac has to pray for Rebecca to conceive.
And she does. But then it sounds awful. The text says the children struggled together within her.
The Hebrew there suggests a violent struggle. It's not just baby kicks, it's like they're smashing into each other. She cries out, "If all is well, why is this happening to me?" She's in real distress.
And she gets a prophecy.
She does. And it sets the stage for the whole rest of the book. 2 nations are in your womb, and then the real kicker, the older will serve the younger.
Which just flips everything upside down. The big brother's supposed to be the boss.
Always. That's the iron law of the ancient world. Primogeniture. The firstborn gets everything. But God says, nope, not this time.
So let's meet them, the twins, because the descriptions are, well, there's something else.
They're a total study in contrasts. First, you get Esau.
The older one.
By a few moments, yeah. He comes out red and hairy. Literally, the text says he was like a hairy garment.
I mean, what a thing to say about a newborn. Congratulations, he looks like a coat.
It's vivid. And he grows up to be just that. A skillful hunter, a man of the field. Think rugged, wild, smells like dirt and game.
Okay, and then you have Jacob.
Born grabbing Esau's heel.
Is that just a weird detail, or does it mean something?
Oh, it's a Hebrew idiom. To grasp the heel means to trip someone up, to deceive. It's a pun on his name. He's a trickster from birth.
Subtle.
And then his personality description. While Esau is the wild man, Jacob is mild man, dwelling in tents.
Okay, confession time. When I hear mild man dwelling in tents next to rugged hunter,
Yeah.
I just picture a mama's boy, hiding inside from the real work.
That is the most common reading, and it makes sense. We value the men of action, but our sources, especially some linguistic analysis, suggest we're getting the translation all wrong.
How so?
The word for mild is the Hebrew word tam.
Tam.
And tam doesn't usually mean mild or weak. It's the same word used to describe Job. It means blameless, complete, a person of integrity.
Wait, so he's a man of integrity, living in tents. That's different.
It suggests he's civilized. Think of it like this. Esau is out in the wild. Jacob is in the settlement. Dwelling in tents doesn't mean he's napping. It means he's running the domestic economy.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
He's managing the herds, the servants, the family business. If Esau is the blue-collar adventurer, Jacob is the white-collar CEO at headquarters.
That completely changes the dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
He's not passive, he's strategic.
Exactly. He's calculated. And that business-savvy mind is about to go head-to-head with the wild hunter.
Which brings us to the most expensive bowl of soup in history.
The red stew.
I really want to picture this because the text makes such a big deal of it. Esau stumbles in from the field and Jacob is cooking. We've got a source, Tori Avey, who did some culinary forensics on this.
I love this. The text just calls it that red stuff.
Give me some of that red stuff. So eloquent.
It was almost certainly red lentils, but here's the thing. Red lentils actually cook down to a yellowy brown color. So the redness might have come from a spice, maybe sumac.
Okay.
But just imagine the smell. You're in a tent, it's simmering away. You've got barley in there, onions, garlic, cumin, cilantro.
Oh man, so it's savory, it's thick.
It's stick-to-your-ribs food, and Esau comes in famished.
He claims he's about to die. Is he being dramatic? Or was he really on death's door?
Most commentators think he's being massively dramatic. He's probably not literally starving after one hunting trip. He's exaggerating his physical need to justify what he's about to do.
Which is the trade. Jacob sees his brother weak and hungry, and his first thought isn't charity, it's business. Sell me your birthright.
It's completely cold-blooded, a pure transaction.
Let's define birthright. It's not just being dad's favorite.
No. This is serious economic and political power. The birthright meant you became the head of the whole clan, and crucially, you got a double share of the inheritance.
So generational wealth.
Massive wealth, and all the authority.
And Esau trades all of that for a bowl of soup.
He says, look, I'm about to die. What good is a birthright to me?
It's insane.
It seems insane, but the analysis is that Esau is the classic example of instant gratification. He chooses the needs of his belly, the here and now, over a long-term sacred promise.
He couldn't see past his lunch.
Exactly. The text calls him profane for it. Not because he was evil, but because he treated something permanent and holy as if it were disposable. He despised his birthright.
Such a stark contrast. Jacob is playing the long game. Esau is living in the next 5 minutes.
And that sets up everything. But if we zoom out, there is something even crazier going on in the architecture of the text itself.
The mirror.
The mirror. This comes from research out of BYU Studies on Literary Structure, and this is where we need to talk about chiasmus.
Chiasmus. Sounds like a medical condition.
It does, but it's a literary technique. It was super common in ancient Hebrew writing.
Okay, break it down for me. How does it work?
Imagine a story like a mountain. You start at the bottom, point A, then you go up to point B, then C, then you hit the peak, the pivot point in the whole story.
Got it.
Then you go down the other side, but you hit the same points in reverse. C prime, B prime, A prime.
So the end mirrors the beginning.
It's a palindrome of ideas, and the whole structure is designed to draw your attention to that center point, the pivot.
And you're saying this story is written that way?
Not just this story. The argument is that the entire life of the Jacob cycle, from Genesis 25 all the way to 35, is one giant, massive chiasmus.
That is a lot of text to organize in a V shape.
It is, but the evidence is just shocking.
Okay, give me an example. Show me the mirror.
All right, let's look at Unit C and its mirror, Unit C prime. Unit C is in Genesis 27. It's the story where Jacob deceives his blind father Isaac to steal the blessing.
Right, he dresses up like Esau.
Exactly. Now, jump forward years later to Genesis 33. That's Unit C prime. Jacob is finally coming home, terrified to meet Esau again. It's their reunion.
So the deception and the reunion are the mirrors. How do they match?
The language. The specific Hebrew words are perfect mirrors. In the deception, Jacob is worried his father will feel him and know he's not Esau. He says, "My brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man."
Smooth, okay.
The Hebrew word for smoothness is hulqua.
Hilfqua.
Now, jump to the reunion. Jacob meets Esau, they reconcile, and then Jacob buys a piece of land. The text says he bought a portion of a field.
Don't tell me.
The Hebrew word for portion is hukwa.
Get out. No way.
It's a deliberate pun. The author uses the same word for his smooth skin in the deception and the portion of land he buys in the resolution. It ties the two moments together.
That's wild.
Oh, wait, there's more.
Yeah.
In the deception, his mom puts goat skins on his neck to make him feel hairy.
The neck, right.
In the reunion, when Esau sees him, the text says he runs to Jacob, embraces him, and falls on his neck and weeps.
Whoa.
Right. The deception involves the neck. The reconciliation involves the neck. The deception involves hokwa. The resolution involves hope.
That actually gave me chills. It's like the story is healing itself with the same words. The wound happened on the neck, so the healing happens on the neck.
Exactly. And this is why it matters. You hear a lot about how the Bible was just pasted together by different authors, the J source, the E source.
Cut and paste theory, yeah.
But this structure argues so heavily against that. You don't get a 10-chapter chiasmus with matching puns by accident.
Yeah.
You don't get that by committee.
No, that's deliberate.
It implies a single brilliant literary artist who designed the whole thing.
So the boring phone book,
Yeah.
the details about the stew, they're all load-bearing walls in this structure.
Every detail is there for a reason.
That is incredible. It makes you want to go back and read the whole thing looking for those connections.
It totally does.
Before we wrap, there's one more thing. We've talked a lot about Jacob and Esau, but there's another pair of rival brothers in this chapter.
Isaac and Ishmael.
Yeah. I mean, their story was full of bad blood. Ishmael was literally sent away into the desert. But there's this tiny, quiet detail in Genesis 25.
The funeral.
Abraham dies. And who shows up to bury him?
His sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him.
Together.
It's a really powerful, understated moment. Despite everything, the exile, the conflict, they stand side by side at their father's grave.
It feels surprisingly hopeful.
It is. It shows that even within God's plan, there's room for reconciliation. It foreshadows Jacob and Esau's reunion perfectly.
So we started this with a Reddit user complaining about a boring list of dead people.
And we ended up with a complex literary masterpiece.
We found out the lists are actually about God using messy, scandalous people. We learned that Esau's hanger cost him a fortune. And we discovered the whole story is built like a giant, beautiful mirror.
Not bad for a phone book.
Not bad at all.
Huh.
And I want to leave you with one final thought on this. Maybe something to think about over your own bowl of lentil soup.
Let's hope it's a bit cheaper than Esau's.
Let's hope. But think about Jacob. He was the quiet man in the tents. In our world, in Esau's world, we value the loud guy, the adventurer, the man of action.
But the whole story flips that on its head.
It does. That quiet life in the tents wasn't passive. It was strategic. It was calculated. And ultimately, that quiet tent was where history-altering events were set in motion.
It raises a pretty big question for us, doesn't it?
Exactly. Does quiet actually mean inactive? Or could it just mean focused?
In a world as loud as ours, that is definitely something worth thinking about.
So next time you're reading and you hit a list of names or a weird detail about goat skins, don't skip it. Look for the mirror. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
See you next time.